I hate to break the fishing news after Ramchek, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations. You're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
This is episode 280. Holy shit. Of the Real Life Podcast. I'm Tyler Rumchuk. It's brought to you by Oodle Noodle. Oodle Noodle, 14 locations in Edmonton. More coming. Make it your playoff tradition. Every Oilers playoff game day, you eat Oodle Noodle. That's
oh my God.
plan.
If that had been our motto for the last 14 years, we would have been out of business.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Whatever. We're getting playoffs now.
Now we're in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, we are in the game. Everyone got their car flags out. Like, are we busting those out now?
Oh yeah, it's been car flag time since Clinchmas.
You know what I like? I like when you're just kind of out and about and you start to see them gradually picking up in terms of volume, and more people start to have them. That's what I like. I'm not really looking forward to it. This last week is going to drag.
Speaking of car flags, I've got 250 Oilers Nation decals sitting on my desk that I want to get onto citizen vehicles.
Sick. I've seen so many more than I used to back.
How should we do that?
Oodle Noodle.
Well, we do that and it's good. But I'm wondering if there's like another layer to it.
Little brick?
Because 250, that means we have to put like 15 in each location. So I only have 250. If I had like a 2,000, Oodle Noodle would be perfect.
Come to Little Brick. We'd love your business. Get a coffee while you're here to go, while you get a free sticker.
Okay.
I was going to say Little Brick, or just pick an afternoon and get like Josh Park to sit in the box of the Nation truck, and he can just sit there parked outside Little Brick and hand it out to whoever wants to drive by. A little drive-by Nation sticker.
And that's you get to look at Josh Park. That's
why I picked Josh, because obviously.
Handsome boy.
That's the problem with putting them with Oodle Noodle is like, if people are just ordering it for the nudes and aren't really ordering it for the sticker, 250 of those could get, a lot of them could get thrown out.
We have to go in and say to the person at the counter, I'm here for the sticker. You need to know enough to ask.
Yeah. You have to go ask. We don't do it as a promotion.
Yeah, we don't just hand them out because they're worth $5 or some shit.
Yeah, they're not cheap to get made. But I wanted to for playoffs get 2,000 made and put into the stores, but I just don't know if it's happening or not. So I've got these 250, and I think we should get them out there. So
get them at the Little Brick. Come on down.
Well, we'll test it out. I'll put 50 at Little Brick right now. Come grab a coffee. We've got takeout. It is beautiful weather all week.
Yeah.
I'll let the baristas know. You come in, you ask for a Nation decal. First 50 people this week, get one.
JR, bring one home with you, because I think one could go on my truck. I don't have one.
Excellent.
Chalmers, you know what I would like you to do? Put fucking that you're on this show in your social bio.
It is.
No, it isn't.
Sure it is.
On Twitter?
I'm going on to Instagram right now.
On Twitter and Instagram?
No, that all got erased. Okay. What? I swear to God, I had stuff in my. Not neither. All right.
Because I was laughing at that the other day. I'm like,
what? On Twitter, my background is of the Real Life Podcast, and after my home building company, it says co-host of Real Life Podcast, and puts a link to Oilers Nation Real Life and OilersNation.com.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Nice.
Pretty professional, if you ask me.
313 followers. Let's get that up a little bit, people. Let's follow Chalmers.
Let's get that up. All right.
To be fair, I haven't changed.
Just giving you shit.
I haven't changed the Real Life bio. It still says @Smigorowski, so I should probably go change that as well.
I'm locked out of all my socials, Chalmers. Who the hell am I to tell you anything?
That's not fun.
You can't even get into your Instagram, Wanye?
Nope. Or Twitter.
That's a crime. That is a crime.
Whatever.
Doesn't Gregor have
if that's my last Instagram post? Well, I thought I did too. And it's a different world now, man. There's so much spam and so many security lockouts and shit, and people hacking accounts and stuff. Fuck. Knowing that guy at Twitter, that guy's just leave me alone. It's a pandemic. Okay.
We have to unlock every team site account at least once a month. It's just like a verify password kind of thing that you just have to do over and over again. It's very annoying.
My accounts, my Twitter went squirrely after we got deleted, right? Because I was like the original admin or whatever. But whatever. I'm still publishing on half of Edmonton's corporate accounts, I feel like, some days.
I feel you.
All right.
Most of social media, just so you know, Remchuk, is me and Baggedmilk indirectly. Accounts you wouldn't think are us, they're us. Oh, they're us.
I buy that 100%.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's talk about the big story from the weekend, the McCentury mark for Connor McDavid. When he scored that goal right off the bat, like 40 seconds in, you could tell he was in one of those zones where he wasn't fucking around. Happening. He wanted to do it.
I tweeted it. I was just like, he needs 4 points tonight. And it just seems like there's nothing the Canucks can do about it. They had no answer.
Foregone conclusion.
It sparked the launch of our McCentury shirt, which is up now, nationgear.ca. My dad has requested that I get him one, so I need to get on that right away. He does love a good piece of Nation gear.
That's how you know we nailed the design.
Actually, the conversation was when I went over there to drop off some flowers for my mom on Mother's Day. Great son. Big flex. My dad goes, hey, I saw like the McDavid 100-point shirt. I'm like, yeah. He goes, are you actually selling those? I was like, yes, we didn't just pretend. Those are out there. He was like, oh, yeah, I would like one. I was like, okay, I'll get on it, Ross. Anyways, that's beside the point. Hold on.
Do you refer to your dad by his first name?
Once in a while, you mix it up.
Wow, that's cheeky.
I do too.
Yeah.
Chris Chalmers, if your son referred to you as Chris, how far over your garage would you kick him?
I would not be very happy. But
over the moon.
But when your son is 23 and he calls you Chris.
It's funny because it's like me and my dad, I don't know if anybody knows this, but worked together for a very long time, basically ever since I was 20 years old. So almost 21 years. And even in meetings, I would find myself calling him dad. And so I had to like switch it up, but I didn't want to call him his first name, which is Larry. So I'd always call him LC just because that was kind of like his nickname.
Oh, like how Jay calls himself JR in 1/3 of his stories?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. So yeah, if my son called me Chris, I'd be pretty pissed off, to be honest with you.
That's not, fair enough.
Anyway,
that's interesting because like
here, Remchuk.
Yeah, damn it.
In the Baggedmilk households, it's just a normal thing. We call our parents by our first name all the time.
They even call John Dutton dad. They don't call him John, and he's the scariest human being ever.
Yeah, it's just always a thing. Always a thing for us.
It says a lot about this podcast, and this one's on me totally, that we can't even talk about McDavid getting 100 points without getting sidetracked like 30 seconds in. But Jay, what are your thoughts on Saturday night, Jay?
Well, leading up to that game, you could just feel that it was going to happen. And then within 35 seconds, Connor just affirmed that fact. So yeah, it's such an amazing milestone. You think I just wish he had an 82 game season so he could just hang that huge number over the NHL. Like that is such a great milestone. And the big thing is he wanted it. He wanted it so bad. And
they wanted it for him.
Well, you saw when Nurse had the puck on the point, Leon was pointing for him to pass to McDavid. Like he's like, you give it to him because I know he's gonna give it to me and I know I'm gonna bury it. Like it was like I said, like everyone just knew this was gonna happen and everyone wanted it to happen, and then they did. The interesting thing though, and I think we got really blinded by the McDavid run of the last 11 or so games. McDavid, I bet you if you did a percentage, was probably involved because on the absolute heater he was on, I bet you in 90 to 95% of available points.
Yeah.
Or on the goals in terms of he played a role in it. Now that we're past the century and we're celebrating that, now I'm like looking at the team going to the playoffs being like, whoo, I hope we can get some secondary scoring again because McDavid just carried us on the team.
But McDavid is like the
30 points in 11 games.
McDavid's like the output of an NHL team solo right now.
It's a testament to how good he is. Like he is good. Like it's so crazy how many points he's got in the last. Like he scored it over 200 point season pace if he was able to continue that on for 82 games. Like that's
so crazy
in this NHL.
Yeah.
My favorite part was that on that power play where he eventually got the 100th point, they tried the exact same play 3-4 times before it finally worked. And it's just Vancouver, again, they just couldn't do anything to stop it. It would go to Leon and then to Darnell, and then Connor would loop around over to Leon. Oh, it didn't work. Try it again. And they would just reload. And then eventually it got it. It was just so funny. It's just Vancouver's just like, all right, it's just coming. Just get it done with.
Yeah, it's going to happen. That was a great shot by Leon.
my overall view of Saturday night was kind of like it was just they kept referring to it as a magical night, and it really was.
It really was
for three different reasons. And it's game 53 of the NHL season and 56, and a team going into the playoffs that has like one of these polarizing things that happens to the team to just kind of like lift them up. Well, I really wish they could have spread out a couple of them. Now, it was Adam Larson's, 600th game?
Yeah. Leon's 500th point.
Leon's 500th point, and then McDavid getting the century mark. It was like, it's really like for a team to get lightning in a bottle right before playoffs, one of the three things would have been great to have happen, just kind of like, bring the boys together and lift them up. And then all three of them happened, and you're just like, that's fucking awesome. But can we have spread it out a little bit? Like maybe just
there's no reason to watch the games this week. Like I'm so not excited for any of the hockey coming up.
3:00 game on Wednesday.
Well, if we really want Winnipeg in the first round, these next couple games are pretty important. Like we've got to beat Montreal.
We've already clinched it though.
No, if we want
not against the Jets
over Montreal, if we want Winnipeg over Montreal, then we have to beat Montreal tonight. We then technically kind of want to lose to the Jets on fucking Wednesday.
We play the Habs.
They play the Habs twice.
We play the Habs only.
Sorry. Yeah, we only play the Habs left this season. That's it.
Two against the Habs and one against Vancouver.
Yes. Okay. Sorry.
So Montreal's played 54 games so far. They have 57 points. So tonight is game 55 for them. Winnipeg is at 53 games so far, and they have 59 points. The problem with the Jets is they keep fucking themselves over and losing. Like, what if they lost 8 and 9 or something?
Yeah,
I want the Jets.
They're one. What are they? Right? Yeah, they're 2 and 8 in their last 10. It's been a joke. What I like right now, looking at the standings, because Montreal's 4 and 6 in their last 10, and the fucking Senators are 7-2 and 1 in their last 10. The Senators only have 2 less wins than the Habs, and the Habs are going to the playoffs, which is crazy.
Crazy. Turned it around mid-season.
Yeah.
Fake news Canadians.
If
we can't beat.
I love bringing this one up, but if the Senators didn't play the Oilers at all this year and didn't have those 9 losses, they would be 22-19-5 this year, which is like a pretty good record. Also, if the Oilers beat the Habs both games, that keeps the window open ever so slightly for the Flames to potentially make the playoffs. They need the Habs to lose both games to Edmonton, and then the Flames need to go undefeated. And that is
unlikely.
I want to bring up a piece of audio that I just think is absolutely fucking hilarious. Chalmers, you said you didn't see it. Wanye said he didn't see it. I'm assuming Baggedmilk and Jay, you both saw this from Calgary?
Yeah. I did not. I'm excited about it.
Okay, here we go. I'm connecting my phone to the Roadcaster as we speak, and I'm going to play the audio. So everyone's got to be quiet during it so the people listening at home can hear as well. But here was the exchange between Daryl Sutter and Flames reporter Eric Francis today.
Alberta.
We'll go to Eric Francis.
Daryl, as an Albertan, how unique a situation is it that your fate for the next two of the next 3 nights rests in the hands of the Oilers?
Because I'm from Alberta.
Well, how unique a situation is it?
Well, I guess if I was from Saskatchewan, it would make a difference, but it doesn't really matter to me.
The irony of Flames fans now having to cheer for the Oilers, is that lost on you?
Well, I think there's lots of people that cheer for Connor McDavid. I do too.
You certainly will be over the next couple of nights.
Okay, we'll go to Solom next.
Some of these guys don't want us to win. Hard to believe.
Two of the most charismatic men on earth talking about the worst franchise ever in sports.
Just was not picking up what Eric Francis was putting down, was he, at all? Just.
Do you think he wasn't picking up, or he just wasn't having any of it?
Both.
He doesn't want to play. Crusty old fuck.
Both. Like how just asking the question, like the initial question is just bizarre. You should have just asked how he finished it, being like, "Oh, do you think it's weird? As the Flames, you have to cheer for the Oilers to have a chance?" Like that should have just been the statement.
Yeah, he already has like a statement he's looking for him to affirm, and Sutter just doesn't want to play.
Yeah, he took it some weird way, and Sutter didn't want any part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird
Being
one.
from Red Deer, right in the middle of both towns, and then straight up being the coach of the Flames, like.
Chalmers, I need to educate you. Daryl Sutter is not from Red Deer.
I thought they were from Red Deer.
Viking, Alberta.
Where that is.
They own Red Deer now. Don't get it twisted.
Dwayne owns Red Deer. Daryl's Mr. Farm Boy, Viking, Alberta. Vikings on the way to Rainwright, if you must know.
No clue. Yeah.
I had a beer the other day that was brewed in Lacombe, Alberta, Jay, and it reminded me of you. Yeah, it was Blind Man. It was very tasty.
Which one?
But I had all of them, 4 of them. I don't know if that's all of them, but I had 4 of them.
Did you see they have that 5 of Diamonds can?
Yeah, that one was good.
And that's because Len Thompson is based in Lacombe. I saw a guy, there's a video.
What's Len Thompson?
He makes fishing lures. So one of their lures is called the 5 of Diamonds. And so they got 5 of Diamonds Pilsners. So a guy made a fishing hook out of the beer can and caught a pike.
Fascinating stuff you're educating us on here.
Wow, you're in, Chuck. That was a deflation from the host.
I sent you guys. This reminds me of when I sent you guys a TikTok video of a guy making a prison deep fryer, and I got 0 comments.
Oh, I didn't say anything. That was impressive.
I didn't watch it. Sorry.
I was driving when I saw it.
Yeah, it was.
And I looked at it in a light. To be fair,
it was bad timing. It was bad timing for me to consume it. I started watching it and then I had to put it away and then completely forgot.
So he makes a deep fryer in his toilet?
No, out of a pop can and like a candle, hair gel, toilet paper.
Wanye, I don't know what you're doing with your camera, but it's really tripping me out here.
Yeah, let me take you through what's going on right now on the video portion of the Real Life Podcast on our Zoom call. Wanye's pacing around Wanye Manor wearing, I believe, Oilers.
Tommy Bahama shirt, it looks like.
Oilers shirt.
No.
Oilers swim trunks.
It's my bathing suit. I'm wearing an Oilers bathing suit.
Okay.
I thought you were getting set to party at the Tommy Bahama shirt.
Fuck no, I'm wearing an Oilers bathing suit. It's game day, boys.
Do you always wear that on Oilers game day?
No.
Oh.
Just today, I knew I wasn't leaving the house. It is very hard at this point of the pandemic to have any new experiences throughout a day. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm wearing a bathing suit today. What up? It's game day.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I turned my camera off. It's done now. You don't have to look at it. Sorry.
All right.
Oh, it's just mesmerizing because you're holding it at leg level, so all we could see was the pattern constantly flashing.
See. Oh, that's cool.
And it was like initially, but you would talk. It was very. I was about to get hypnotized.
Oh, sorry about that. At least it was Oilers related.
Yeah, fair.
That was the most on topic I've been all season.
To be fair, last episode, you were the one who got us onto the Oilers talk.
Brought us back to Oilers. Yeah, that's fair.
While we're talking about what people on the podcast are currently wearing, how about JR and I rocking the exact same hoodie? The Twig and Berries. I'm going to take a little screenshot of this, Jay, so make sure you're looking good. There we go. I'll make sure I post that. It's the Alex hoodie from Twig and Berries. It feels like almost water repellent too, but also very stretchy and very warm. Well, I got a black on black one. I don't know if that's the same thing though, but my Twig and Berries hoodie is also excellent. Today I'm rocking a DFO rundown hoodie, Tyler.
Respect.
I fucking work on that show. I don't have a DFO rundown hoodie. Anyways, before I get too lost here in my ad read, twigandberries.ca, you can get the Alex hoodie yourself and match Jay and me. Free shipping in Canada on orders over $75, and you'll even save 15% with the promo code NATION15. twigandberries.ca. You gotta love them.
I've got a large here in a bag that we should give away.
Say bag milk on it?
I'll give away to Baggedmilk.
Yeah.
If you come to get a sticker. Oh.
How do I get
contest?
How do I get a DFO rundown hoodie? I work on the show.
You can come have this one, but you got to take it off.
I'm good.
I also have a DFO rundown hoodie in my
You
possession.
also don't work on the show. I do. So
oh wow. Flex back on him, Jay. Flex back on him.
I don't even need to flex. That's
soft power.
Exactly. That's the flex.
Exactly. Well done.
No, Jared's got some. He's sending them out to you, Gregor, and Frank.
Thank you. I get very frustrated when I don't get the gear I want.
And then put in a special request for a McCentury shirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then get an Oilers bathing suit and wear it midday when you don't intend to be near water at any point.
No,
right.
you don't need to wear undies though if you got a bathing suit on. The mesh just does the work.
The liner is the undie.
Yeah.
Exactly. These were shorts that were for a trip to Hawaii that never occurred due to a pandemic.
I hate
whatever. I'll
bathing
wear them
suits
when I
with
want.
the liner.
Why? It's great. No underwear day.
Well, I mean, if you're just rocking it normally, but I mean, just like actually a bathing suit, I prefer no liner, just straight shorts. Anyways,
you like a pendulum effect, I call that.
Elon Musk was on SNL, and I know you guys are going to have a take on it. I didn't watch it, so either Baggedmilk or Wanye, can you sum it up for me in like 30 seconds?
Baggedmilk, you have the floor.
You know, I watched it because I find Elon Musk to be endlessly fascinating. And also he's made me a bunch of money this year, pumping Dogecoin. Shout out to Elon. So I was going to watch it. I was really curious. I was curious to see how he would do because Elon's not necessarily a funny guy, but the writers at SNL could kind of, if done right, they can make you look really good. And I thought that with all the hype, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on it and I was curious to see how it was going to go. And I thought both the writers and Elon did a really nice job. I thought that his monologue was interesting. I thought that the writers did a good job of writing sketches where he could do his weird shtick or be a part of the shtick. He wasn't a main focus of any of the skits he was in, I didn't think, but more of like a bit part. And he worked really well in the roles that he was at. So I thought it went well overall.
Interesting. Wanye,
I would agree. Yeah, I think that like people were being mad about it is funny, right? Because Elon Musk has a big impact on pop culture. And there's a certain subset of nerd, of which I consider myself one, Baggedmilk is too, where like, I love Elon Musk. Like his career is insane. And that just put that aside for a moment. He's like the second richest guy in the world, but he also is of a culture that I identify with memes and like hilarious cryptocurrencies and shit and Tesla and stuff. And, you know, when he tweets like, he who controls the memes controls the universe, that really resonates with me, right? Because like I also make memes and shit. So to see him go on SNL and do what I thought was a very good job, right? It was really funny. It was interesting to see, like he played ball. He was willing to make himself look like a goof for it to work. And I thought there was one scene where he was Wario. He was evil Mario. And I thought it was very well done. It was very cute.
There was one where he was like a producer or something on a Icelandic reality show or talk show or something like that. And he was in love with the host and he wasn't a major focus of that skit, but he was hilarious in it because anytime they cut to him, he said something funny and he was making the faces and the wardrobe was good. SNL is like I don't watch Saturday Night Live a whole lot, but I was interested in this one. And it just seems like they're such a well-oiled machine that they just plugged him in where it put him in a spot to succeed.
I heard Miley brought the fire.
Miley's great.
Yeah.
She belted out and she is great. Her new album's awesome. Her performance was awesome. Her voice is incredible. Like, yeah, it was a really, really good card, if you will, or whatever you call it.
I gotta watch it.
Hey, so I look at this show a little bit differently, I think, than all you guys. But Wanya, you said that some of the cast members had a problem with Elon being the host. Are you aware of why they had a problem with him being the host?
Yeah, so they're just like, well, he's not an actor. But I think that in this day and age, beef sells records, right?
That is about like the very skin on the top of why I think a lot of people didn't want him on the show.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's said a lot of recently with like masks and shit. He said some controversial shit.
Yeah, so he's had some controversial shit that he said. And so it's come out and I can't help but kind of agree with them, but a lot of them are looking at kind of how this is going to play long term. I have heard and read and listened to some stuff where there's cast members that were on when Donald Trump was on.
Yeah,
Donald Trump's been on a couple times, and you know they're embarrassed by it now. With stuff that's happened in the future, and I think with just the erratic behavior that Elon Musk shows and where he potentially could go in his future, that I think a lot of them were kind of getting out in front of it and saying like, if this doesn't age well, this isn't going to be good for us. Like,
I'd put it this way. He's the third richest man in the world. He's single-handedly taking us to Mars. He's digging tunnels underneath everything. He made the only new car company in 50 years. If he's slightly erratic, like of course he is, you can't have it all. Where would you put it? And secondly, the least person impacted by this, if he goes off the rails, is like, oh no, what are people going to think of the cast of SNL when he was the guest host? Like, fuck off.
No, but
for your own self-importance, these people, fuck off.
They do have to think about that, though.
Well,
I mean,
there's no such thing as bad publicity, and Elon Musk is not going to do anything to embarrass you, role player on SNL. Good Christ. Anyways.
Okay, well, that's their own personal bubbles that they have to think about. There's
exactly.
People like Amy,
well, then don't
like
go on
Amy
the show.
Poehler.
Then quit. Elon Musk has more followers on social media than the rest of the cast combined.
Like
right?
SNL had to live stream this on YouTube for the first time ever because so many people wanted to watch Elon.
Elon Musk will never hold political office, right? Elon Musk is a private citizen, right? He doesn't hold any public office. And he's got a great big cultural impact. It's very different when someone's like, I'm about to run for president. Let me be the guest host. That's not cool.
But they are definitely entitled to their own opinions. And now the show and the cast member, those are two totally different things. The show, of course, is going to have Elon Musk because they are not appointment viewing anymore. There's nobody that watches that show live.
I do. I watch it every week. I watch it every single week, always.
Live. You are
I know my PVR. My PVR.
Yeah,
I don't watch it.
So do I. But there is a faction of people that only see the sketches that get posted to social media and stuff like that, right? And this one, because like in the past where they created something you had to see, the show had to have Elon Musk on. Like, it was great for the show. It was finally relevant. It had people talking about the show prior to it. It had people talking about the show during it. And now people are going to go back and find it after it. So yes, the show having Elon Musk is definitely good for the show, but I understand where the cast members can, have that reservation in their mind of if he does something a year or two from now, I'm going to be embarrassed to have been in a sketch with him and playing ball with a guy like that.
For sure.
And so I did understand it, but a lot of people just saying, like, there was a lot of people saying that they thought that the beef with the cast members was that they're working for, there's people out there that are working for minimum wage and this guy's got all the money in the world, does whatever he wants.
Oh, my good Lord. Oh, my good goddamn, pardon my language, my good Lord. Is that what people think?
No,
what would you like to do? What would you like him to do? Sell everything that he just invented and distribute money on Main Street with a pack of wolves at his feet? I don't know. I think that Elon Musk is one of those guys that is actually creates the world around him, right? And like most people in business and stuff, like the devil's in the implementation, right? It's one thing to have great ideas, but like, I'm going to invent an electric car. Like, okay. But then to actually do it. And then like, I remember when, what's it called? Road and Track. Is that a car magazine, Chalmers?
Yeah.
Yeah. They like test drove a Tesla and said it broke down and it didn't. And they just did it to like fuck with them. And then like Tesla sued them. And like the car industry just did not want a new car company to exist. Right. And there was like another one, Fisker. They were way better funded than Elon and shit. The fact that he pulled it all off, he's a magician. If he wants to go on SNL, they're entitled to their own opinion. Right. And like, I can like, sure, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Guy who doesn't want Elon Musk on there because he doesn't like him. You can sit this one out. Right. You're well within your rights to, or you can go on there and hope not to be in a sketch with them. It's a free country for everybody.
And none of them did. I mean, they all participated, but Elon's also the guy that made an indestructible truck and then broke the window with a fucking pebble. So,
well, there was a reason for that too. I'll give you an example of ethics that can't be compromised, Chalmers. Myself, episode like 6 of this show featured Ryan Whitney prior to Spittin' Chicklets launching. And I dislike Ryan Whitney so much, I didn't go on my own show.
Ryan Whitney was on the Real Life podcast?
Yep, go look. That was when it was me, Gregor, and Strutty. And Strutty's like, yeah, Whitney wants to come on the show. And I was like, under no circumstances. You guys can have him on the show, but I'm not going on the show.
I think we might think this might be your Elon Musk moment. You might want to revisit getting him back on the show.
Episode 3. No, I didn't. Why? I have my own show. I don't need to worry about it.
I don't know. He only has the single biggest hockey podcast in the world right now.
Hey, baby, I own number 4. Whatever. And the one with me and my friends talking to each other, people listen to magically. I don't fucking give a shit about Ryan Whitney. He's a terrible Oiler. Fuck that guy.
Ryan Whitney reached out right now and was like, I'd love to come on your podcast, I'd tell him to get fucked and I'd have no problem.
Exactly. Fuck you, Ryan Whitney.
So you guys are the cast members of.
Anyway,
no,
SNL, right?
I'm saying this. I don't actually mean fuck you, Ryan Whitney. I'm saying this to make a point. I'm entitled to my own opinion, just like the guys on SNL are. Do I actually hate Ryan Whitney? No, but I just didn't want to go on that day because I like having my childish beefs. I would bet you anything that these cast members coming out and saying they didn't want Elon on the show was a strategy by NBC to promote the show. Beef sells records.
So you're saying, Wanye, if we were to trick you and Ryan Whitney onto being on the same podcast, that would sell records?
Yeah. And me saying, fuck you, Ryan Whitney, when I don't mean it at all. Right?
Yeah.
There are people who are like, did he just say, fuck you, Ryan Whitney? That's amazing. That's how you get the most streamed YouTube episode of SNL to kick off. Right?
Fair enough. A couple other topics I want to get to today, one of which is Jack Eichel. I don't know how much you guys have heard about this story here that kind of broke today. Eichel speaking to the media for basically the first time since his season ended. He didn't play the last half of the season. And Wanye, I know what you're going to say. You're going to talk about the hair and what a loser and a cancer he is. The bottom line is he's like a top 10 player in the NHL pretty easily. Could even be higher as well if he was on a better team. And he clearly wants out. He said, quote, oh man, and I just lost it, but basically said his focus is on playing hockey next year, and ended the quote by saying, wherever that may be. He went on to say that he wanted to get a surgery on his neck done, or on a herniated disc in his neck, and the Sabres wouldn't let him get it. Which sounds insane. Someone followed up, said his body, his choice. This is from John Vogel, I think of The Athletic. And Eichel said, quote, it doesn't work like that. I wish. I'm under contract with this team, and they definitely hold a lot of cards on what I can and can't do. So it's gotten pretty bad in Buffalo. So Eichel probably on his way out, and like a star player in the NHL at his age as well. Like Rick Nash was with the Jackets for like 10 years before he finally said, you know, I'm out of here. I'm good. You guys, it was a good ride, but we suck. For a guy that young to be like, I'm kind of done with the team that drafted me, even though I signed a mega deal here. It's kind of shocking to me. Like, fuck.
I've got some quotes here because they're spicy. So we should probably go through them. All right. So I'm going to start this off. I am Jack Eichel speaking. Okay. So he says, listen,
hi, Jack.
Thank you.
You son of a bitch.
Listen, my number one interest is Jack Eichel. You know what I mean?
Shocking. Jack Eichel said that?
Yeah. You got to look out for yourself. You got to look after what's best for yourself. The organization has a similar job to do, which is to look out for what's best for the Buffalo Sabres. It's tough. Things haven't been, I guess, really black and white. We're all trying to educate ourselves in this situation and what would have been best moving forward. There's been some tough conversations, but I have to do what's best for me. I'm only going to play hockey for so long. I'm 24 years old. Hopefully I have many more good years in this amazing game left, but I have to take care of myself. It's been tough times, but I'll come out the other end of it.
Okay, let me say some stuff.
Yeah.
This is why Jack Eichel will never be Connor McDavid. And this is why Connor McDavid would never leave the Oilers until he's at least won what he thinks he can win. Because Jack Eichel blames the organization for his failures, whereas Connor McDavid puts the team on his back and is 90% of the output. I remember when Taylor Hall went to Buffalo, everybody was like, oh, wow, these two superstars are just going to be superstars. Like, no, they won't, man. That's not the character of a franchise player. A guy that you invest to like be your team for the next 20 years or whatever the fuck it may end up being. You got to look out for Jack Eichel. Like, okay, well, let's start with no captaincy, you twit. The best. Fuck you.
Jack Eichel follows up. He says, I've been a bit upset by the way things have been handled since I've been hurt. I'd be lying to say things have moved smoothly since my injury. There's been a bit of disconnect between myself and the organization. It's been tough at times. Right now, for me, the most important thing is to just trying to get healthy, figure out a way to be available to play hockey next year, wherever that may be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the hate.
Follow-up question.
Yeah.
Follow up. Go ahead, sir.
Follow-up question. Now, because of what he said, would you want Jack Eichel to be an Edmonton Oiler?
No.
I think if he played under a guy like Connor, where you'd be fine.
Yeah, if you could get him for free or just his contract, sure. But I'm not like giving up what you're going to have to give up to get a guy that good here.
What would you have to give up?
Probably
banged up, bad attitude, Jack Eichel.
So what I would
huge smoke.
Someone texted this in today to the radio station, but they said part one is you got to let Nuge walk. So you're losing Nuge, but that's not even a part of the deal. Just to make money work, you have to let Nuge walk. So that's one. And then the deal probably looks something like your next 2 first-round picks, one of your good young D-men, so either Bouchard or Broberg, probably your best forward prospect, Dylan Holloway, and one of Yamamoto or Puljujarvi.
What?
Eichel?
5 legit assets?
Maybe take one of those last 2 out of it. I probably overshot there. You're right. 2 firsts, a good young defenseman, and a good young forward, and like legitimately good. Which is why I would.
How many years is
Holloway.
old Jackie Boy under contract for after this?
A while.
6 more.
6, 7.
How many millions a year?
10.
1 moment, please.
6 years at 10 mil. Or sorry, 5 more years after this at 10 mil, according to Puckpedia.
Yeah. So
Well, I would just ask King Connor. I'd be like, yay or nay. And if he said nay, then I would say never speak of him.
Like, you're taking a $10 million contract. Not saying that Jack Eichel isn't worth $10 million, but like you're not giving away I don't think you're giving away that much. Maybe 2 firsts, maybe 2 firsts.
Buffalo.
Maybe you're right too. Like,
oh crap! Wanye's internet just crapped out on him while he was midpoint. Anyways,
so Puckpedia, year 3 of an 8-year contract, cap hit $10 million. Career earnings of already $32.75 million. Let's look at some other stuff here. Signing bonuses, he's got plenty of those. In 2022, he gets $7.5 million deposited on July 1st. Good for you, Jack Eichel. But that's pretty much it. $10 million a year, though. That ain't no joke.
Wanye, you weren't able to finish your point because your internet just like glitched out on you. But what were you saying? Wanye's still here. I'm looking at him.
there,
there you go. Hey, what were you saying? Your internet cut out.
Jesus, Murphy, this is when it's not just talking to your friends on the phone and then there's actually a problem. I don't know. That was weird. What was I talking about? Where did I die off? Fuck it. Who cares what I said? On to the next thing.
All right, fair enough. If you can allow me to make my prediction on where he goes, if Buffalo says we're not trading you in the Eastern Conference because we don't want to deal with it, then I think he'll end up in LA actually, which is not great news for the Oilers, but LA has enough quality young centermen to make that deal happen, whether they include Byfield or whether they build it around like Alex Turcotte, Arthur Kaliev, who's an American, and they find a way to make that sort of deal work. I could see that happening where he ends up out in LA, and that feels like a market he would probably want to go to as well. Like, you know, to be in LA, obviously making 10 schmil a year would be pretty nice. So I could see the LA Kings making a move for him. If the Sabres just say whoever gives us the best offer is getting them, then I think the Rangers will be kicking down the door for him. And I think
what about Seattle coming to the table?
I don't think they'd have enough to get them.
Yeah, like they don't have anything right now.
Yeah.
Couldn't they just? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because all they're getting is expansion draft pieces and all that. Anyways, so that's the latest cycle.
Man, bitch. Could you imagine though, just be like a Sabres fan right now? Fucking just endless kicks to the pills for that.
I feel for him. Buffalo's they're great people, great hockey fans in Buffalo, and they've been getting the shitty end of the stick for a long time.
Focus on those Bills. Focus on those Bills.
Yeah.
Sabres will be back later. Focus on those Bills.
Yeah. All in on the Bills. Let's go.
I saw a meme like that the other day where it was like, the Bills are good again. What did it cost? Costed you the Sabres because they're still a dumpster fire.
Same owner though, right?
Yeah, the Pagulas.
Terry Pergola.
Pergola. Yeah. All right. Let's wrap this thing up by not wrap it up. Let's get to our final ad read, which is manscaped.com. The Lawnmower 4.0 has been launched, and it is beautiful. It is spectacular. It's got the new two-tone design going. It's got a ton of new features like wireless charging as well. It's got a lock on there as well. If you're someone who travels a lot, it'll work wonderfully for
color,
that.
if I recall correctly.
Yeah, the two-tone look on the outside. They really beefed it up. It looks absolutely beautiful. You can head to manscaped.com, change your country to Canada, pick out whatever you want, whether you're getting a full package like the performance package, just the razor, or just some of the goodies, I like to call them. They got some creams and things like that. Take care of your downstairs. Manscaped.com. Promo code REALLIFE saves you 20% and gets you free shipping as well. It's a hell of a deal. Manscaped.com. Chalmers, you were pointing at the camera emphatically. What's up?
Nothing. Before we wrap up, I did want to change the subject and just talk about one thing. Over the weekend, I had a pretty spirited back and forth over some of my comments about the Tom Wilson thing and just basically the state of, I guess, player safety and what justifies suspension. It was a really awesome conversation. It showed a couple different ways of thinking, and so I'd be remiss not to just kind of address it on here because, you know, I was hard saying, you know, that I had basically three things that I felt really would justify a suspension, would justify, you know, crossing the line. And that was, you know, hits to the head, helmetless players in any way getting taken advantage of, you know, sticks to the head, elbows to the head. And, you know, it all came to intent. And so I was brought up the example of, you know, basically throwing down a player. And in my rebuttal, I looked at why a player throws down another player, right? If a player doesn't have a helmet and he gets thrown down, let's say they're in a fight, it's usually because that player just does not want to fight, i.e. the incident with Darnell Nurse and Zach McEwen. In that fight and in that moment, I have to admit that when I saw Darnell Nurse eat an uppercut, and basically you saw his will to fight go away, and he grabbed Zach McEwen by basically the crotch and the pants and threw him down. In the heat of that moment, I thought that was a really chicken shit move by Darnell Nurse. And that was putting another player in jeopardy because Zach McEwen didn't have a helmet on, right? So I you know, if you're going to sit on a fence and yell out about this kind of stuff, you have to bring up the examples that kind of other people aren't looking at. Now, we're talking about a player in the North Division between an Edmonton and Vancouver, and a player named Darnell Nurse who really doesn't have a history of this stuff. So I understand why it doesn't get the coverage. We looked at the non-suspension on Tom Wilson, and this week George Peros was pretty busy handing out suspensions. And you know, you look at the knee to the shoulder / head of Darnell Nurse, and you know, I got a problem with that. It didn't really look that bad. The Buchnevich suspension, really bad. You know, the Pat Maroon suspension where he fights his way away from a linesman to go fight, what is his name? I don't even remember his name now. And pop him. You know, I understand why that's a suspension, but I do want to just address that with the fact that Nurse thing, and any player, you know, like really, honestly, if you throw a player down to the ice, either to wrangle them or it's because you're actively engaged in a fight and you're either scared or you just don't want to do it anymore. And when Darnell Nurse did that, like if I'm going to sit there and complain about Tom Wilson, I've also got to be able to complain about Darnell Nurse. So to the person that I had the spirited conversation with, to, you know, to just my views, and to throw it out to you guys, like, did you see and do you see and understand kind of what I'm saying with that Darnell Nurse fight?
I didn't like the takedown.
I didn't notice it until I just went back and watched the fight. And yeah, you can't do that. Like, you can't. And you're right. He was clearly like at a disadvantage in the fight and like grabbed him and sort of like flipped him over quickly. And you're right. As soon as the helmet's off, I think as much as I love a good heated rivalry and all that, like the Battle of Alberta was a couple years ago, I think you need to be careful when a guy has his helmet off. I think there needs to be a little bit more respect between players of like, you can really hurt a guy when you do that.
Like, and to my point, like, is there not a rule in the NHL right now that if your helmet falls off, you either have to do one of two things? You either have to beeline it over to that helmet and get it back on, or get the hell off the ice, right?
You have to go right off the ice now, yeah.
While fighting? Like, just a sec.
No. This is just if your helmet gets knocked off. Yeah. Here's the one thing about Darnell Nurse that I will also say. If you're in a fight, you know, then the helmets pop off. Like, I can understand that, you know, you're probably not thinking. He just took a shot too. Like, right before he grabs Zach McEwen, he takes a shot and might have been a little bit like, you know, got the bell rung just a small bit and been like, and just panic, grab him and throw him over. It doesn't make it right. But in you know, I was very stringent against Tom Wilson, and I was saying that this guy just, you know, you throw Artemi Panarin down once and you are a much stronger player and you can hold him there. And if it's to restrain him and just kind of say, like, Terry, like, calm the fuck down, You have the strength and the wherewithal, as Tom Wilson does, to do that. But to allow him up and throw him down a second time, even more dangerous, that's showing intent to me. You know, Darnell Nurse, does he show intent? No, he simply shows, I don't want to do this. He probably doesn't have the wherewithal to think my takedown here is going to hurt another player or put their head in jeopardy. But, you know, if I'm going to sit there and, like I said, say this kind of stuff about Tom Wilson, I've got to address the fact that when I was sitting with a beer at the golf course watching that play, my thing was not, oh, good for Darnell taking it. I immediately looked at my two friends and said that was a chicken shit takedown, and I didn't like it at all. So, you know, I just think that for the sake of fairness, that we got to talk about that kind of stuff, you know?
Fair enough. Fair enough. I have no problem bringing it up and saying that Nurse shouldn't be doing that. I have no issue with doing that at all. I don't think Oilers players are immune from us looking at something they do critically. And it's not like even Darnell Nurse hate. It's just kind of giving them hey, smarten up. You can't do shit like that. No one can do shit like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know how forward to go, how much further to go with it, because I mean, it's not like I was having the conversation with you guys on it, but just it would almost be kind of a chicken shit thing on my end.
Bring your hot takes, bring them to the table.
You know,
you are on a podcast.
Sometimes you just got to keep it 100, Chalmers, you know?
You did it.
Like McDavid, keeping it 100.
Oh, he did keep it 100. If you'd kept up with that would have been a great closing to the Keep It 100 segment.
He won't be keeping it 100 after tonight because it's going to be keeping it 103.
Where does he end off for points? Maybe that's a good way to end this off.
107, I think, is a good number.
I'll go 105. I think he probably has a quiet night coming up here just because he's been so hot lately that eventually he's going to have a quiet night. And I'll say he pops home a 2-pointer, a 2-pointer, and a 1-pointer in the final 3 games.
I mean, Wanye, if you were the technical person on this podcast who could go back to that prediction show when you said that he will have 100 points, if I were you right now, I'd have been clipping what we said after that, because I can remember at least what I said, and I was saying you're fucking on drugs.
I thought that Draisaitl would get 100 points. I thought Connor would get 90 points. Then I said Draisaitl, but I got to that number by adding Connor's numbers together with Leon's number and subtracting the year. So there was a reason I came up with such a high number. But I believed in Connor, no doubt.
Yeah.
My hilarious prediction is the best, because I said 81 points in 56 games, which was basically a shade over his points per game pace from last year.
But that's still amazing.
He make me, it is amazing. And he made me look ridiculous.
We've bitched and moaned, or watched people bitch and moan all the way from being Oilers fans for, however long it's been. We also need to stop and take note that this is the greatest season of NHL hockey we will probably ever witness in our lives.
100%.
Unbelievable. Connor's best years, of course, will be years where he wins the cup, which God willing is in an Oilers jersey, and I'm sure it will be. Please,
maybe it's this year.
However, when they're like, oh, I wonder what is Connor McDavid's best season, this is either going to be at the top of the list or a very strong candidate, and you should take note. That's crazy.
This will be top 3. If he can create some kind of version of this season next season and put up 140 points, 140 points is like 200 points in the old days for sure. He can do it.
All I know,
he can do it.
All I know is just what Tyler says. It's just all the time. Tyler says it. I'm just enjoying watching him do his thing, because he is such a freak. It's amazing to watch him. It really
the stats nerds, the people who prove this and that with their advanced analytics. This must just break all their little Excel spreadsheets.
I'm just so proud that he's ours and gonna really absorb it, because not only is he doing it for us and it makes us feel good and it gives us a team that's really competitive to watch, but it opens the door to people in the United States, on even on Spit and Chicklets, they talk about Connor and just what an amazement, that they're watching and just that.
He's restored our pride, man. We're no longer the city that loses David. We're not the team that loses David Oliver to the Rangers for $100,000 anymore, right? We have the
100%.
best player. We have another top 5 player. Our owner's got money from here to next Thursday and won't have to sell Connor to fund his meat packing plant. This is going as well as it could be going.
Yeah. And so Yaremchuk, if you're going to keep it 100, what do you think is the way that Connor is used in the last 3 games? Is he was averaging 24 minutes a night?
Yeah.
You know, there's people out there like on Spit and Chicklets where they say they can't play him more than 18 a night. Obviously, it's going to be up to him, really. Like, I don't think Tippett's going to just like make that decision for him. But what do you think? Like, what do we think that's going to happen, boys?
I think Dave Tippett will kind of make that decision for him. I think Tippett will kind of say like, hey boys, we're relaxing your minutes down the stretch here. McDavid's averaging 22, 27 a game this season. Draisaitl's at 22, 19. I would be a little surprised if either of them plays over 18 minutes in any of these upcoming games. Power plays might change that a bit because you're still playing them all 2 minutes on every power play. So if they get 4 power plays tonight against the Habs, they're going to play points a lot. But
if you look at, like, we talked about this on the Bcast, Tyler, if you look at Saturday night's game as an example, Connor hit 22-15. Leon was under 20 minutes. Nuge was under 20 minutes. So it would seem like Tippett's already starting to pull them back a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's an opportunity to get the other lines going.
Yeah. Yep. At 5-on-5, I'd be running 4 lines, like not even thinking, almost not coaching.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but here's my last, like the one thing too is it seems like it's ending on a perfect note for me. It's the thing that I've been talking about all season, where like at the beginning, it was just don't be 50-50. Don't be like, you know, just winning a game, losing a game, winning a game, like really start to get a run here. And it's like happening for them all at the perfect time, right? And you have all these milestones. You have all these great things. The team is playing fucking awesome. To me, it feels like every night when we watch the game that we, you know, it's going to be a surprise if we lose. Like I have, it's called, you know, it's that confidence. Like when you're golfing and you just know you're going to hit a good shot, right? And you don't want to.
Chalmers, not everybody's like you. You fuck. It's shooting 70s all the time.
You don't want to fuck with that confidence. And like, I believe that whatever they have to do to keep the momentum rolling into playoffs, to keep this perfect situation that we have going, where the whole team is clicking, like they have to do it. And rolling back their minutes, just a couple, to try to fire up the secondary scoring, I think is like, if it works, we could be on the brink of something like really fucking fun this spring, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I'm with you.
When are we going to do our prediction show? When are we going to do our prediction show?
Next Monday, because the playoffs are going to start on Wednesday night, I believe, the 19th. That's what I'm hearing. So
which one of you and Baggedmilk, because I know that me, Wanye, and JR are not going to be doing it, but I'm going to be delegating here, and this is a task. We have to
delegate, but we don't have to do
our predictions from the beginning of the season, because there's no point in having a prediction show if you don't go back and revisit.
I just said Monday. We're doing it Monday.
Oh, but I think Wanye was also talking about like a playoff prediction show.
Yeah,
we'll do
it
Monday. We'll just do the first half will be revisiting, the second half will be looking ahead.
Chalmers, whatever you're about to say, Monday.
Yeah, Monday,
man.
This was a very great meeting. Let's table it and circle back. Hey, Baggedmilk,
this is how we workshop,
talk.
buddy.
That's how we workshop. Talk for when you don't want to do something. Just table it. We'll circle back.
You put circle back a lot and we'll revisit.
Yeah, take it offline.
Take it offline.
All right.
Baggedmilk, you know what is fun? But when Baggedmilk, either when you laugh at me or with me, I just love hearing you laugh, buddy. I swear to God, I don't know.
At me, with me.
At me or with me, I don't even care.
I'm glad to provide the laugh soundtrack for you there, pal.
Yeah, my man.
All right, I'm going to wrap this up because your boy's going to get jabbed and he's got to leave his house right away.
Good for you,
get your
pal.
vaccine.
Yep.
Congratulations.
If you're listening to this, go get your vaccine.
Get it.
Get an HPV vaccine while you're there, and then you have no repercussions in life.
That's what we should have done with the Oilers Nation decals, is if someone shows up with their proof of vaccination, JR, then they get an Oilers Nation decal. Anyway.
Well, if there's a way to do that, I want to support that.
Yeah.
What this just made me think about was the fact that back in the day when Wanye at the beginning of the season was like, oh, you know that every NHL team's been vaccinated. But we just saw on Sportsnet this weekend that they were saying that they had scheduled the Maple Leafs in for their vaccinations. Yeah. How can they be doing this right now? I know how I felt 2 days after. They better make sure they don't play for like 4 or 5 days afterwards.
For sure.
They've clinched first in the division. Nothing matters for them. If I'm the Oilers, I would get it. I would
just like...
Unless you're like me, Chalmers, I had 0 symptoms. I had 0 soreness on my arm. Nothing.
That means it didn't work.
Your old boy Baggedmilk is just an efficient machine.
Well, you got the Pfizer. You didn't get the real one. The one that
I did get the Pfizer.
one that really works.
The real one. Yeah.
Pfizer gang, baby.
AstraZeneca, the one you really feel it. You know what you feel that it's working.
Know that it's working because it's burning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm wrapping this bad boy up. Everyone enjoy your week. We'll be back on Thursday with a new episode of the Real Life Podcast. This has been episode 280. Shout out to Oodle Noodle, Twig and Berries, and our friends at Manscaped. This episode's over.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.